The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT. We are live once more here on YouTube. Got a bit of a late night interview with the man himself, boxing insider Rick Glaser. He'll be here any minute. Shout out to everybody who's gonna be here. There's nobody here right now, so hey, make of that what you will. But yeah, waiting for Rick. Gonna talk some boxing and just have a good time with them. It's always good to have Rick on the channel. Shout out to my main man Joe Mata. He says, "What's going on, True School Sports? What's going on, Joe? How you living, champ?" But yeah, we got a good show planned today for you guys. Rick's been wanting to come on the channel, so he'll be here any minute now. I just sent him the invite. While we're waiting for Rick, I want to encourage you guys out there to go ahead and check all the interviews and news coming out here on True School Sports. Got a lot of great things coming out here on the channel. So we're waiting for Rick at the moment. I'll come back, guys. I'm gonna wait for Rick to get here, so I'll come back. All right, so I'm back. Right now, we're still waiting for Rick. I just sent him the invite and got him notified that we'll be starting soon. But shout out to my boy Johnny Boy in the comments. Johnny Boy says, "Sorry, BT, Sorry about the other night, buddy. Those children take me out of character. It's all good, man. But anyway, we're not gonna waste any more time. We got Rick here, the man himself, Rick Glaser, boxing insider Rick Glaser. Here he is. What's up, Rick?
Hey, buddy. How you doing, BT? I was just having a couple shrimp with my wife, and just enjoying didn't realize it was after 10 o'clock and got a little carried away with myself eating, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, that's what you got to look forward to when you're 62.
Oh, well, I got a long way to go, so hopefully I enjoy my younger years.
That's right. My wife said 62 and crazy. That's what she said. 62 and crazy. So did you go visit Stacy?
I didn't go today. I was supposed to. I didn't go.
Oh my God.
I'm going tomorrow.
There was a rumor going around that he had a couple Wendy's sandwiches waiting for you. The only problem was he saved the receipt when you showed up or when you didn't show up.
Yeah.
So we got a lot to talk about tonight. So fire away.
Yeah, quite a lot. We had that whole Jamel Herring fight. I did get a chance to watch it, and I think he did. I think he quit. I'll be honest with you. I think he looked for the way out.
Let me say something to you, okay? The guy was a Marine. The guy was an Olympian. The guy's been in a whole ton of fights, and he was way ahead in the fight, and he had a bad cut on his eye from an intentional headbutt. Okay, it was ruled intentional by the referee. I'm not going that it's intentional or not. I'm just saying it was ruled that. He had every right to stop the fight if he wanted to. That's not quitting to me. That's not a quit job. Okay, it's not like he was behind in the fight. He was going to lose and decided to tank it in. How about his corner not knowing the rules? Oh no, you're going to lose. Get back out there. What were they thinking? It was like between the referee, the corner. I mean, it was like a commune of errors. And then after the fight, the commissioner's arguing with what's his name, Weeks. Oh no, it's going to go to the scorecards. I don't give a shit what those rules say. Those unified rules. Okay, a referee can disqualify a fighter for an intentional foul that causes injury anytime he wants. It doesn't have to go to the scorecards. That's bullshit. Okay. A fighter can get disqualified at any point in time with an intentional foul that causes an injury. And that's what he elected to do. Yeah. What did they have to go to the scorecards for? Luckily, he was way ahead on the scorecards, too. So no matter what happened, he was going to win. Okay? I'm not saying he couldn't have gone on, but that's not quitting to me. Is not quitting.
The way I interpreted the fight was that Jamel Herring was boxing pretty well the first 4 or 5 rounds, but then Oquendo started to pick it up in the back half of the fight.
Well, because he was hampered by the eye injury.
Yeah.
Come on, your whole fight changes when you got an eye injury like that. You don't fight the same. You're subconsciously thinking about your eye. You only got 2 eyes, bro, one on each side of your head.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. The guy, believe me, I'm the biggest critic of fighters when they quit. Believe me, okay? And the thing about Dillian White saying he wasn't sparked, which means sparked out, knocked out. He was out. You could have counted to 1,000. Come on now, okay? I mean, that's funny, but the truth of the matter is, I don't feel he quit. I would never call him a quitter.
I don't know. It's depends on how you interpret the fight, I guess.
A good way to look at it. But don't forget, he was way ahead. He couldn't have lost. So if he wanted to bail out at that time, that's up to him. That's business. I get that part, but he's not a quitter. I don't believe he's a quitter for the other side.
Maybe quit might be a harsh way to look at it, but I just feel like he looked for a way out.
If my eye looked like his eye and I was way ahead, I think I would. That was intentionally headbutted. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
What the hell? It's common sense.
Absolutely. What do you make of Lopez and Lomachenko? It's finally done. It's on free TV. What do you make of it being on free TV?
I'm going to explain something to you. When two fighters are with the same promoter and they actually want to fight each other, it's a done deal. Everything else is bullshit, moving back and forth, negotiation. Well, if I lose, how much is my next fight? If I win, how much is my next fight? These are all part of the go. That fight's been done for a while. That fight's been done for weeks. So it was just all the maneuvering in the background.
Do you believe the rumor that Lomachenko gave Teo part of his purse to make the fight happen?
You know what? I believed it when I first heard about it, but then I started thinking about it, and it didn't make much sense. So, but I did believe it in the beginning, because a guy like Lomachenko would do something like that because he's got balls. He'll fight anybody. He proved that. I mean, he's proven that. He fights everybody and anybody. He don't care. Move up in weight, move down in weight, up in weight, back. He don't care. Fight anybody.
Yeah, he wants to be one of those all-time greats.
What I find funny going on right now, nobody's talking about this. Gary Russell wants to fight Devin Haney, move 2 weight classes up for $1.5 million. But when Shakur Stevenson was the WBO featherweight champ, he wasn't screaming to fight Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah, he didn't want no problems.
Come on now. You can't make this shit up.
No, you can't. Well, you brought it up. What do you make of the whole Devin Haney, Gary Russell situation? Because that's like a popular thing to talk about right now.
Well, I hope it happens, because Gary Russell's got nothing to lose. He can shoot for greatness and become a WBC lightweight world champ against an undefeated young buck, or he goes back down to 126 pounds and say, "Hey, I tried, I didn't do it. I'm gonna defend myself in my mandatory like I've done once a year for every 5 years. I just picked up $1.5 million. I mean, it's a great deal for him."
We got to actually give Gary Russell a bit more credit. Normally he only fights once a year. Now he's fighting 2 times a year. He's really picking it up.
You realize that he'll fight more this year than Canelo Alvarez? 0 for Canelo and twice for Russell if it happens before the first of the year. Sort of funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it is funny. Like that's how you know 2020 is a crazy year, where you got Gary Russell Jr. fighting double the amount of times as Canelo.
Crazy, isn't it? It's been a wacky year, Yeah, a wacky year. So I mean, I've been trying to buy you lunch since 2019. Now we're going to be into 2021.
It's actually been since 2018, late 2018, but
18. I got to get down to Florida and buy you lunch.
Yeah, man.
One of those grouper sandwiches. Grouper sandwich with a little key lime pie, you know what I mean? Top soup, we got it covered.
Sounds like music to my ears. Apparently Shakur Stevenson was saying that if Lopez beats Lomachenko, that he's got to come see him. Shakur really wants that fight. Apparently,
Shakur wants what fight?
He wants to fight Teofimo Lopez if he beats Lomachenko. That's what he said.
He better conquer 130 before he thinks about 35. Let's go in like this. You know what I mean? He's a young, growing kid, so let him grow into the weight. Jesus, that's a big jump. Because the night of the fight, Teofimo is going to weigh 155, and he'll weigh 135. So that isn't really too good. That's not good thinking.
That's why they have managers. That's why they have managers and promoters and teams to stop them.
That's why they have matchmakers, advisors. Oh yeah, no question about it.
Yeah. Have you heard about the WBC? Apparently, the WBC is going to have a new weight class between heavyweight and cruiserweight. You heard about that?
Yeah, I'm one of the guys that has been talked to about what they should call the division. Actually, want to know the truth? There's a misunderstanding. There's a couple of them about it. Okay, so it's a total cop. What did he say? A total cop out. What did this guy say here?
Virtuoso says it's a total cop out by Top Rank Boxing on ESPN announcing team to call Herring a quitter. I wanted the Marines to continue, but Oquendo broke the rules intentionally.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I don't even know Virtuoso. We're green already.
That's
it. It's a weird situation what's going on in boxing right now. I mean, everybody's all over the place and stuff, and we're caught in a time right now this year that we've never ever been in the history of boxing, even during wars. I mean, this is like crazy, and you don't know what's going to happen from minute to minute. I mean, guys go into the bubble in Las Vegas, and next minute they're thrown out of the bubble. They fail to. They fail the COVID test. They go back home and they take the test 2 days in a row. They pass both times. So who knows?
Yes,
it's a crazy year.
I've heard the bubble is like really depressing. I was talking to somebody recently, and they were describing what it's like to be in the bubble, and they said it's really depressing.
Well, if anybody says that, they're a depressed person on their own without the help of the bubble. It just gets worse when you're in the bubble.
Yeah. Okay.
A guy like me is not going to be depressed in the bubble. I'm a high spirited all the time, so I wouldn't get depressed about that bubble. It's just part of business today. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at it as part of the fabric of our business today.
Yeah, you got to adjust, adapt, or die.
Yeah. I mean, like, you got to evolve. And it's evolving into the bubble and COVID tests and everything else. Craziness. You know? Crazy.
Yeah. They were saying that in that new weight class that they have.
Where's your dad tonight?
My dad?
Yeah.
He's out right now.
Oh, okay. Normally sitting next to you and we're waving and all kinds of good shit. Okay. Continue. Tell him I miss him.
Okay. I'll let him know. But that whole like the new weight class, they were saying they were talking. Tony Bellew apparently is like part of the committee that's running the weight class.
Don Majeski's involved. You know who Don Majeski is?
Yeah, he's
right.
matchmaker, right?
Well, he's a career boxing guy.
Okay,
and a boxing historian, and he's had a lot of work. He's handled a lot of world champions. He was an advisor to Lennox Lewis, Costas, some real big names over the years. He's been in boxing literally his whole life since 1969, and he's now 66 years old. What do I think? I think they're going to come up with a nifty name for it, but there's a couple of misunderstandings about it. People are saying it's they're going to call it the super cruiserweight division. The name cruiserweight will not be in the new name, and the name heavyweight will not be in the new name, supposedly. The cruiserweight thing's ruled out for sure. They're going to come up with its own name. I don't know, like warrior weight or, medium weight or some friggin' thing. But it was not done. There's some misunderstanding here. It was not done by the WBC to get more sanctioning fees.
That's what I thought it was for.
No, Don Majeski's the one that brought it to Mauricio because it was about safety. Because today you have guys that can't make 200. Then you got guys like Tyson Fury that weigh 271 pounds. There's got to be a happy medium there. So now they're saying that over 200 and up to 225 is going to be the new weight class. They're talking about even making the new weight class up to 230, actually. They're not really sure about that either yet. But 230 would be a max. But
I'm not really sure about that.
Heavyweights are huge today, and it's a safety issue. But you imagine a little guy getting hit by a big guy. Come on, it's just the arm length, the height, the reach, the girth, everything. I mean, Come on. I mean, you got to level off the competition by doing that. I mean, you can't have guys that weigh 215 pounds fighting guys that weigh 271. It would even looks funny on TV if that happens. You look at it and go, holy shit! You don't want that.
Yeah, I just I get what you're saying. I understand the safety protocols, but like I'm just not a fan of boxing having more weight classes. I feel like the sport's already watered down enough.
Well, I happen to agree with you. Okay, and I don't think there's any question that you're right about that. Okay, and that's not even in dispute. This is a safety issue, and it doesn't really have any choice. It's 15 years from now, heavyweights will be 290 and 300. They're going to have to come up with a weight class, over the 220 to 230, and have another weight class in between there. I mean, they're getting bigger and bigger. I mean. Well, let me say one thing to you. Have you ever looked at a 205-pound fighter and a 205-pound fighter, a 208-pound fighter, and a 212-pound fighter? Okay? The 208-pound fighter is not that much bigger than the 205, but than the 105. But the 112 is much bigger than the 108. That 4 additional pounds is big. It's a completely different weight class. And it shows when you eyeball it up. And let alone, you're talking about 30, 40, 50 pounds here. I mean, come on. I know they're bigger guys. Everything's relative. But weight means something. There's no question about it. I mean, we're talking about finely tuned athletes. We're not talking about 50 pounds of ballast weight here or fat.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they were saying that one of the first big fights in the weight class is supposedly going to be between Wilder and Usyk.
I don't know about that. It should be. You want to know the truth? It should be. I mean, it could be, but that's. I think that's like a pipe dream. First of all, Fury's already got a title fight with that he's got a rematch clause, and I'm sure Fury would force that rematch clause. That win will be so easy. So,
that's easy money. That's easy money for him at this point.
Yeah,
like the Wilder team, I think they're mentally broken and defeated. Like I interviewed his strength and conditioning coach, and they just seem like they're all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, the guy was complete. Guy never won a second of the previous fight. I mean, come on, he lost. I mean, they've competed in 19 rounds. He won 2 of them, and both of them he scored knockdowns in. And then nobody ever got up before. All of a sudden, this guy gets up. Not once, but twice. And I think, especially the second knockdown in the 12th round there, you thought they were counting him out. He just rose from the dead, like Larry Holmes did against Shavers. I mean, he's listen, Wilder can punch, don't get me wrong, but when you can't box a lick, it's harder to land those big punches against top fighters.
Yeah, because you
Shout
can't.
out Rick Glaser. He always engages on FB and Twitter with the fans. Yep, that's me.
That's it, man. He's one of the most engaging people in boxing.
Oh, it's Reverend Pickles, my main man. I know Reverend Pickles. Hello, Rick. Hello, Reverend Pickles.
He says, "True, Rick. It's been announced today that in the UK that groups of over 6 people are banned. The St. Ledger oldest horse race is canceled today. Not looking good for live boxing gates at all."
Well, what can I say? I mean, I hope that Joe Joyce and Tyson Fury. Daniel Dubois happened. They were talking about moving him from October to November. I mean, I just hope it happens. It's a great fight for UK boxing and world boxing, for that matter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got to get that fight soon. What do you think about Terence Crawford fighting Kell Brook? Because a lot of people are saying that fight is no good. That's not a good matchup.
Why is it no good?
No, I don't know. I'm saying I don't think it's not good. I'm saying
let me run this by you. Everybody's favorite fighters, the PBC, the LDBC crew, the Haymanites, and the Agenda crew. They all want their guys to fight Crawford, but Crawford's caught on the wrong side of the street. Why don't they come over to the right side of the street where Crawford is? Because he's where the money is. So in the meantime, they all complain, but none of their heroes will fight Crawford. They're all on the sidelines waving. Okay?
The one thing they always say is, "Oh, well, he's not ducking Terence Crawford. He just wants to collect all the belts on his side of the street first. That's why he's fighting Danny Garcia."
Why does Danny Garcia have a belt? Did I miss something?
He doesn't have a belt, but they try to justify it and say, "Yeah, he wants to fight all his guys on his side of the street. He wants to conquer that side."
I know Danny Garcia doesn't have a belt. That's being sarcastic. I know. Listen, they're always shooting agendas. They made Wilder look like a fool with the 249 excuses why he lost the fight. They kept coming up with new ones every day. These LDBCers, and you know what? The guy lost. Face it, the guy lost. All the experts thought that Fury was going to win the rematch. Everybody, myself, everybody, anybody who had any expertise thought, your guy can't box a lick. Suffer with those consequences. Get knocked out. He went out on his shield. He was begging to have why'd you stop the fight? We wanted to save your life, son. Maybe your life wasn't worth saving, but we saved it.
Yeah. I don't know why everybody's saying that this fight with Crawford and Kell Brook isn't good. I mean, Kell Brook, I know he's not what he once was, but guy's a former IBF world champion. Credible name.
He's a good puncher. He's got a great chin. He's a tough guy. He's only lost 2 fights in his career, and that was to Spence, who's a top fighter, and he lost to Golovkin at 160 pounds. The guy's going to bring it. He's bringing the hay. I don't know how strong he'll be at 147 pounds. That's another issue. Can he make the weight safely and be strong? I don't know about that. But listen, He's getting a couple $1 million plus the UK TV. It's a big fight in the UK. It's on TV there. I mean, it's Custer's last stand. I think he'd rather lose to Crawford than he would than take the chance of losing against Amir Khan and get laughed at for the rest of his life in the UK and get beat by Amir Khan. At least you get beat by a top fighter. You can always fight Amir Khan after. You fight Amir Khan first, there's no what's-his-name fight. There's no Crawford fight, right? So
you're right. You're right. I think Terence Crawford, though, Terence Crawford's actually going to fight a better version of Kell Brook than Errol Spence did, because I was watching the fight with Errol Spence and he looked slow. Like he looked slow from round one, Kell Brook, because he had to make that sharp weight cut.
He's not a fast fighter. He's physically strong and can punch. He's not fast. There's nothing fast about Kell Brook.
When he puts his punches together, he's relatively fast.
I'm sorry, what was that?
When he puts his punches together, he's relatively fast. Like I think he's fast when he puts them together.
He's fluid, but he's not fast. Fast isn't the right word. You know what I mean? Hector Camacho, the deceased Hector Camacho, is fast in his heyday. Pernell Whitaker, Floyd Mayweather, Howard Davis Jr. Those guys were fast. There's nothing fast about Errol Spence or
Kell Brook.
No. Mm-hmm. Those guys aren't fast. Those guys are just Spence has got regular speed and Brook is
Yeah. Well, either way, I think Kell's gonna be really up for the fight, and I think that he'll be a tougher fight. He'll be a better version of himself when he fights Terence Crawford than he was for Errol Spence, because he's not taking that sharp weight cut after the Golovkin fight. Well,
there's a lot of truth to that. But he doesn't fight that often in recent years, and I saw him in a picture recently, and he was a little blown up not too long ago. So he's still got to take a weight cut. Trust me.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I'm looking forward to that fight. My man Antonio wanted me to ask you about the Canelo Alvarez suing DAZN and Oscar. He said, "Tell the brother about Canelo suing DAZN and De La Hoya." So what do you think about that, Rick?
When I think about it, I think that Canelo rushed it. I think when in a pandemic situation, he gave him a couple months to negotiate. It wasn't enough. I have a problem with everybody in this lawsuit. Okay, I'll tell you why.
Okay.
First of all, I understand force majeure. I understand cutting the purse, attempting to cut the purse because of the times. I'll agree with the zone. I'm disappointed about Canelo not heeding to that, but I am also very disappointed in the zone because they're calling they have this thing in the contract. He's got to fight one premium fighter a year and one regular fight a year out of the two. Well, but the problem is they're calling what's his name, McCallum Smith, an undefeated world champion, and Billy Joe Saunders, an undefeated now 2-division champion. They're calling them non-premium opponents, but they're calling Oscar De La Hoya, Jose whatever is the MMA guy, and Kareem, the MMA guy. They're calling those guys premium opponents. Those are not premium opponents. Okay, all three have no chance of winning, and it's not a premium opponent. Okay, Billy Joe Saunders has a shot at winning, and so does McCallum Smith. Those are premium opponents. That I have a problem with there. I have a problem with Oscar, only in this sense. Okay, Oscar's lost complete control of the situation because he and Canelo are on the outs. And if him and Canelo were getting along, and I'm blaming Canelo for this too, they wouldn't be in this problem as much as they are. Okay, and of course he's got to get sued because he's on the paper. Okay, and so they're making it like, oh, we're going to sue Oscar, we're going to sue the company, we're going to sue DAZN. When it comes down to it, DAZN's responsible to pay, not Oscar. Oscar's ultimately responsible to pay. Okay, but the one dwelling out the funds is, of course, DAZN. They're the ones with the deepest pockets.
Yeah, John Skipper and them.
Yeah. What do I think? I think that DAZN is very poorly run as a operating company as far as the boxing goes. I'm not going into soccer and all this other stuff. Let's just deal with boxing.
Yeah.
Okay. And because boxing's the one sport that doesn't have a league. So I believe that they're very poorly run. This is a big result of that. And I think over the next 75 days, they'll get this straightened out where Canelo's fighting for the DAZN and Oscar in January, and then he's going to fight GGG as part of the deal come May. That's what I see.
Virtuoso says, not all Canelo fights are created equal.
If he put $5 up, I'd answer that question. But for $2, I'm sitting there numb.
Yeah. You got to put on 5, Virtuoso. Put 5 on it.
He better tell him this is 2020. This ain't 2002.
No, step it up, champ. No, but yeah, the DAZN. I'm actually like I thought the DAZN was gonna do a lot better job than they're doing. They've really like
they don't have a boxing guy. They don't have a boxing guy. They have nobody with boxing experience. They got a bunch of TV executives, and that doesn't work. You need a boxing guy. Don't they get that? It's simple.
They should have seen what happened with HBO, and that should have been kind of like an example of what not to do.
Yeah, you hire Peter Nelson. You go out of business. Yeah. You know, as soon as they hired Peter Nelson, he should have put a closing sale sign up.
Yo, didn't they just fire Peter Nelson from the whole network in general? I think I was reading something about that recently.
Yeah, I don't know if he left, got fired, terminated. I don't know what you want to call it. He left on his own volition because he knew he was getting canned, but he's on the process of getting phased out.
Yeah. On Showtime, I think it's Showtime on the Terrell Geisha Eric Salubo undercard. Jaron Ennis is fighting Juan Carlos Abreu, and it's a 26th fight. So like, what do you make of like how they're moving Jaron Ennis at this point? Because I feel like he's getting too many soft touches.
I wouldn't call Juan Carlos Abreu a soft touch compared to what he's been fighting. What he's been fighting has been soft touches. This is a step up.
It's like,
what Jaron Ennis is involved in a big lawsuit right now by Chris Mittendorf. He's from a suburb of Annapolis, Maryland, and he is suing Cameron Duncan, his reputed manager. He is suing Boots himself, the father, and I think there's another guy they're suing in there. So, and Joseph Duncan, Cameron's brother, and they defrauded this Chris Mittendorf. He's got a promotional contract with the case in the state of Iowa, and it's temporary that Chris Mittendorf gave the kid permission and Showtime permission to put the kid on TV as long as Chris Mittendorf approves the opponent. So they can't fight too much because Mittendorf's not going to approve it.
That makes sense.
Up between a rock and a hard place till the lawsuit gets settled. But the lawsuit it's going to get settled quicker than most people think. You know, but this is a big step up for Ennis because of the fact that Abreu, I don't think, has ever been stopped, and he's a solid guy. You know, he's a game solid guy, and it's a lot better than the guys he's been fighting. Let's put it that way to you.
No, absolutely, it's a lot better than the Bakhtiar Yubovs and the Armando Alvarez of the world.
Right. Don't mock your fellow Floridian there, Armando Alvarez.
I know the gentleman from Key West.
Have you ever known a great fighter from Key West? I've never known one.
No, Key West is too peaceful to produce great fighters.
Yeah, violence in the street is the waiter not getting tipped.
Yeah, or somebody parking in the wrong spot.
That's right.
Yeah, Mittendorf though, that's the guy. Didn't he promote Terence Crawford? Wasn't he trying to sue Terence Crawford at one point?
He's got Terence Crawford still with Top Rank. He gets paid. Top Rank pays him on every show.
Okay, yeah.
Every time he steps in the ring, he gets paid by Top Rank. So there you go.
That's kind of like similar to what was happening with Greg Cohen Promotions when they had Jarrell Miller. Like Jarrell would work with Eddie, but Greg Cohen still got part of what his purses were.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What did you think about the Jose Ramirez Viktor Postol fight? Who did you have winning that fight?
Ramirez, I had him winning 115, 113. It was a good fight. It was competitive. I could have scored the fight. Like 116, 112. But, 115, 113 would be a good score.
Yeah.
I think.
I had it 115, 113 the other way for Postol.
Well, I don't know. I didn't see that. I didn't see that, so I don't know where you came up with that score. But if you listen, if you need to learn how to score a fight, I do give lessons out.
No, I don't need any lessons. I know what I was watching, man. Viktor Postol was keeping him on the end of that jab. He had to neutralize the majority of the fight.
Let me tell you something. Very few fight. If you look at the history of boxing, very few fighters ever lost their title because the other guy's jabbing. Trust me.
No, you're not wrong. I'm just round by round. That's what I thought. Postol's jab was the difference in the fight.
Well, and I think the other guy's power punches were the difference in the fight.
The thing was, it took Jose a while to get started. It took him about maybe like 4 rounds to get warmed up. So I feel like he gave a lot of the early rounds away, and then there was a lot of swing rounds in that fight.
I don't know if we watched the same fight.
We did watch the same fight. I was live for that fight, and a lot of people that were watching me live had Postol winning that fight too.
I didn't see it, to be honest with you. I don't know. I didn't see it. I mean, Jose Ramirez was putting a lot of pressure on him and stuff like that, and the other guy was slap jabbing and moving away and attempting to get out of the way of stuff, and he was still getting hit. So I don't know. Maybe I just saw a different way of looking at it. Crawford is screwed for life. Why is Crawford screwed for life? The guy's 36-0, millions in the bank, undefeated, 3-division champion, was undisputed champion. Junior welter. Why is he screwed for life?
Because Earl Spence won't fight him.
Well, listen, his life will go on. Trust me. Crawford's fight will go on without him. I had Postol too. Reverend Pickles. Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Reverend Pickles.
Okay. Pickles. I had it a draw. It was a close fight. Ramirez 7-5 was a fair score. Postol didn't do enough to win. Yeah, the jab. That's all it was. Jab, 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 jab.
Yeah, my only criticism of Postol was he didn't throw the right hand enough. But when he threw it, it was there. I mean, because Postol Ramirez has that high guard where he's like really wide, so he's always susceptible to like the 1-2 down the pipe. That's why I think Josh Taylor's going to beat him pretty easily when they fight.
I do too. I agree. Taylor can fight on the inside, the outside, left-handed, can box well, good on his feet. All the things that the Jose Ramirez will have trouble with. And
it's the speed too. It's Taylor. I think Taylor's a fast fighter.
Yeah. Oh, Taylor's fast. He's very nimble on his feet. That's important.
Yeah, because I went back and I rewatched this fight against Postol the day after Postol versus Ramirez, and that was the biggest difference, was just the speed between Postol and Taylor.
I think Taylor's a more complete fighter. I would like to see Ramirez win because I'm an American. But, but as far as, in reality, I really believe that Taylor's just too much of a complete fighter. I tell you what I would do if I had Taylor. Ramirez.
What would you do?
I would go fight Crawford for all the marbles. Okay. And then he'll lose to Crawford, then go back down and then fight Taylor because he'd still have his title and get 2 paydays out of it instead of 1. That's how I'm thinking.
His manager Rick, the other Rick Merrigan, or I don't know say his name. He should take your advice.
He doesn't take anybody's advice.
Yeah, so, I follow him on Instagram. He seems like a very proud guy, a very prideful guy.
Listen, he's a very successful guy. He should be proud. But in the meantime, there are other people besides him out there that know more about boxing. And I'm not saying I'm one of them, but I surely wouldn't walk after what I saw the other night. I wouldn't fight Josh Taylor. Okay, I'd go fight Crawford. You could lose to Crawford at 147. Okay, and still go back down and get the Taylor fight. So that's what I would do.
Crawford's gonna end up like
Mayweather, like Whitaker. What? Dead from a hit by a car? What does that mean? I don't understand it.
I think he's saying Crawford's gonna be one of the greatest fighters of all time. I mean, What's wrong with being like Pernell Whitaker?
I don't know what he means by that. Well, he ended up like Whitaker was hit by a car, so I will take it back by what he said. I was asking, Josh Taylor versus Kroger's fight is not far from the ring. I think a more competitive fight is Ramirez versus Postol. Okay.
Didn't that fight just happen?
Yeah. Yeah, he's just saying that. Yeah, I don't know. But
yeah,
anyways,
Reverend says, she said, I think the saying goes, battles are rarely won on the retreat. I understand what you mean. He's talking about the whole Ramirez Postol thing.
Yeah. Just slapping that jab and, come on.
Nah, but Ramirez, like when I watched the fight, his aggression was very ineffective.
It was?
I thought it was. I mean, yeah, in the middle rounds it wasn't, but other than the middle rounds, it was pretty ineffective.
Listen, I was talking to somebody from PBC, and they thought Ramirez won. So,
damn.
and he even bet on the fight.
Damn. Okay.
Well, I should say from PBC. He's a Mayweather crony. So yeah, PBC.
Yeah, he's a Mayweather pom waiver.
Yeah, the biggest.
Who was it?
No, I can't tell no names. The guy bet on the fight. And he bet Postol. He thought he was going to win. He bet Postol because it was big odds, and he did admit he thought Ramirez won. So that's there's a lot of truth to that stuff like that. L Dog, I know L Dog. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, he says Rick.
He's on my Twitter.
Yeah, he's great. Do you know who Lomachenko and Teofimo are sparring for the upcoming fights?
No, I don't know either. Nobody's employed my services, so I don't know. I have no idea. So
yeah. Well, you know what, Rick? One common question I get on here, like when I do these interviews, sometimes people ask me, "Who's that Rick Glaser guy?" So like, I know you've probably done this a million times, but like, could you as best as possible specify each part of your job? Because I know you're a man of many hats.
I'm an international agent, broker, and consultant with 29 years of full-time boxing experience. I've worked with 44 world champions, former world champs, and #1 contenders in some capacity. Advisor, agent, promoter, whatever. And currently, since 2008, I've been supplying all kinds of services to promoters, TV networks, fighters, managers, attorneys, TV production companies that do boxing, media agencies. And I supply all kinds of services to them, expert witness in lawsuits, for attorneys, almost anything. Supply sparring partners, opponents, make fights. If a deal's convoluted and they can't close it, I sometimes come in and close it for them. If a fighter's like wants $150,000 for a fight, they're offering 120. He calls me up and says, listen, they're offering me 120. I want 150. Get me 150, and I'll give you 3,000. I get 10%. So yeah. And I'm getting them 140. I'm picking up $2,000. So yeah, maybe I'm getting 150 for them. But I do all kinds of anything white collar. I don't work corners. I'm not a trainer. I don't do cuts. I have no expertise in those areas as far as making a living. And I do it every day. I make fights in Europe. I do Australia. I have accounts in Australia, all over Europe, Russia, the Ukraine, everywhere in the world that has professional boxing. I'm there. I'm on the phones. A typical day for me is I go to bed at 1:15 in the morning. I wake up at 4 o'clock. I start making my worldwide calls at 4 o'clock to the Europe. Now, before I go to bed at 1, I call like Australia, New Zealand, and all these places. Okay. And then at 4 o'clock, I start calling the UK. I call Russia, anybody I'm doing business with, I have a deal going on over there with. And then typically I work for about an hour, and then I go back to bed for about 2 hours till 7. And I start my business day, shower up, and start my business day about 7. About a half hour to shower up. Start my business day about 7:30, and I work all day and all night. And I normally take a cat nap before I watch the little baseball at night or a sporting event at night. I'll take a cat nap for like an hour and a half, and then I'm always working. I advertise 24/7, 365 days a year. I just got a new website out.
GlaserBoxing.com.
GlaserBoxing.com. It tells everything what I do on there and some of the services I provide. There's testimonials on there from a lot of the iconic figures in boxing. And, just do my thing every day, and I get called upon to be on shows like yours. And I enjoy this. I love people ask me, well, how come you're on Facebook all the time and Twitter? Who's answering the fans' questions? Nobody answers fans' questions but me. I mean, people are relying on me. Well, ask Rick Glaser. He knows. He'll answer. Of course I will, because that's me.
And the best part is we know that when we ask you a question, we're not going to get any like bullshit answers or any like fluff answers.
No, there's no fluff to me whatsoever. I'm a real straight shooter. I tell like it is. I'm proud of it. As I've always said, I'm proud of anything that comes out of my mouth.
Yeah. So like in a given day, you could have
You missed that one.
Wait. Say it again. Say it again.
I'm proud of anything that comes out of my mouth. Keep going.
You're proud of anything that comes out of your mouth. Wow. You're sick.
Okay, fire away.
I was gonna say, so like in a given day, you could have like lawyers hit you up, fighters, like all in the same day, promoters.
Okay, well, just like today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I talked to 2 lawyers. I talked to probably 40 between promoters, matchmakers, and managers, probably another 40. I talked to a guy from a TV production company today. I talked to a guy from a media agency today. A little bit of everything. Do it every day. Is what I do. I'm 365 days a year, and my life's boxing.
Yeah, you're a true boxing lifer to the fullest.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, before you really met me, you asked Stacy about it. I told you to ask Stacy.
Oh, Stacy, yeah, Rick Glaser, that's a guy if you're in boxing. If you're in boxing, Rick.
That's right.
That's what
Stacy went to Russia. The guy said, do you know Rick Glaser? He goes, oh, shit. Then he went to Germany. About 3 weeks later, the guy said, do you know Rick Glaser? Of course. What the hell? Where you go? Do you know Rick Glaser?
Yeah, man. You got to have your own parade one day.
No, I don't need no parades.
No parades?
No parades. So fire away. More questions here.
I know you're really close to the Maloney brothers, and I think it was it Andrew or one of the Maloney's got a fight with Inoue coming up.
Jason.
Yeah. Well,
anything can happen in that fight. That's a war.
You think so?
That's a war. Now, does Inoue figure to win? Yes, but Inoue's going to know he's in a fight. He might end up with a couple puffed up eyes in that fight. And that's going to be a rough fight. Jason Maloney's got balls down to his ankles, heart the size of a Mack truck, and he's going to bring it. I'm telling you, he's going to bring it. It's his shot at glory. He had a nice win on ESPN, and it's a shot at glory. And you know what? Inoue was wobbled a couple times with an old Nito Donaire. And I don't think, you know what? Another thing is, Inoue's coming to the United States to fight first time.
Second time.
Second time? Okay.
Yeah. But first on ESPN.
Not an easy thing.
Yeah. It's difficult, especially during the whole the pandemic and whatnot.
Right. Not an easy thing.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I think Maloney's gonna go in there and give a good account of himself. I see Maloney I feel like he's I think he's a solid guy, but I think Inoue is just on a different tier.
Well, Inoue's got wild power, and that's the difference in the fight. If he didn't have that wild power, I mean, I would favor Maloney, but he's got that wild power, so I do favor him. But it's going to be a fight. No joke. It's going to be a real fight.
Yeah, looking forward to it. ESPN's October schedule, Top Rank's October schedule on ESPN is insane. They got Lopez, Lomachenko, they got Inoue.
Well,
Peter BX fighting as well.
They said, look, this is what there was a misunderstanding, and people they only hear what they want to hear. Okay, everybody's saying, oh, the ESPN ratings, they sucked, over the summer, the June, July, and August fights. They went on the air saying this is the ESPN Summer Series, a top-ranked developmental series. What more do you want? They weren't giving us the biggest names of the biggest fights. That's couldn't.
Right. We had to deal with Isaiah Jones. We had to deal with watching Isaiah Jones fight a couple times.
I mean, those are only 6-round fights. But the point is, they just put shows together. Shakur Stevenson got 3 weeks notice for that fight. How did he get down to 120-16 if he wanted to? I mean, come on. It wasn't fair that people were saying negative stuff about Top Rank because of the rankings. Everybody knew what it was. Have some brains about it.
I was upset about it for the first couple of weeks, but then I'm like, well, it's developmental series. I got it.
And not only that, we were in the middle of a pandemic. Nobody was also running any boxing. Well, the flip side of that was they should have been able to make great fights. No, the gyms weren't open. There was no sparring partners. Come on. Let's talk realistic here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, they're definitely redeeming themselves for those people out there that had complaints.
Right. They definitely are, no question about it. But they put on some good fights since they brought it back after the couple-week hiatus. They brought it back in September with some good fights. So no complaints, 0. Rick Glaser, give me your top 5 best boxing fighters, Mexican fighters. Thanks. My top 5. I don't know. Juan Manuel, no particular order. Juan Manuel Marquez would have to be in there. Chavez Sr. would have to be in there. Jose Napoles, even though he wasn't Mexican, but was there. I don't know. I'm just trying to think. What's his name? Chiquita Gonzalez would have to be one of them.
Canelo.
Nah, too early yet to say that.
Some people got him top 5 already.
Man, good luck to them.
Yeah.
I would, I'd have to think about it for a little while, but Chiquita Gonzalez would have to be one. Oh, Finito Lopez.
There you go.
Finito Lopez. Yeah, no question. That would be my top 5.
I'm mad at it. You didn't say Canelo, so I'm okay with it.
No, he may be eventually, but let's see how his career ends up. But right now, if he were to stop his career right now, he'd be in the top 5. Put it that way to you.
Okay.
Let's see how his career ends up.
We'll see. What do you think about Dillian White versus Alexander Povetkin, the rematch?
I believe it or not, I think Povetkin's got a real shot. The other guy was exposed. He was knocked unconscious. You don't come right back into a rematch. It doesn't. It's just like the, But the difference is Wilder was beat up over 7 rounds. This guy wasn't beat up over the course of the fight. He just got caught with one shot. But I could see Povetkin winning again. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me at all.
My man Antonio said, "Will Jaime Munguia be the next great Mexican fighter of all time?" No.
Don't see it. Too leaky on the defense, and it's not that good. He's good, but not that good.
He's a good TV fighter. He's a good TV fighter.
Fun guy to watch. But I don't see him as an all-time great with those 5.
My man, one SSS asked Rick, "What do you think of Mirjan Akhmadaliev?"
Which one is that one?
That's the one. That's the one at 122 that beat Daniel Roman.
He's good. I saw that fight. That was in Miami. You were there.
Yes, sir.
I picked you out of the audience. What did I think? I think he's a good fighter. I think he's a very good fighter. I thought it was a good fight. Too bad that Danny Roman's not with them anymore. Hopefully, we could have saw a rematch, but he's not. He's not. He got to release him, Eddie, and he's with PBC now. So probably won't see a rematch. But it was a very good fight, and he's a very good fighter.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get to see Merjan versus Angelo Leo for the unification at some point.
Well, Angelo Leo's got to get past Stephen Fulton next, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. I think he's gonna hurt him badly when they fight.
Okay, I know those Russian and Ukrainian names, especially the Russian name.
Uzbekistan. He's from Uzbekistan.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. All the same. Rick, I heard Joey Gamache is working with Lopez for this fight with Loma. Have you ever worked with Joey? I know Joey personally. I was one of the first ones in the locker room because his trainer at the time, Jimmy Glenn, the late Jimmy Glenn, and the late Johnny Boz, his manager, were friends of mine back then. And I was at the Gaddy fight, and he looked up at me. He calls me Rocco, and he goes, "Rocco, it's over." After the fight, it was pretty sad.
That sounds sad. I feel sad just hearing it.
It was sad, believe me. Rocco, it's over. Hey, there is some romance to boxing. It's sometimes.
Yeah, but sometimes boxing can feel like a mafia movie.
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah, like it just feels like we're living in a Bronx Tale.
I never worked with Joey, but I like Joey. Good guy. Knows boxing, good trainer, good guy, complete human being, got his shit together, good guy. Nothing negative to say about Joey.
We just answered this question about Maloney, but he was saying that it's going to be a war.
I know you're close to it's going to be a war as long as it lasts. It's going to be a tough, grinding fight. I mean, believe me, Jason Maloney's got balls. He's just one of those type of fighters. Some people have those big cones, and he's one of them.
Yeah. Yo, Rick, as far as like the sanctioning bodies goes, like could you just describe what it's like dealing with each sanctioning body individually, like WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO?
Love to. The easiest one to deal with is Paco, WBO Paco Vargasell. Got Paco's cell number. He's a gentleman. If he can do something for you with your fighter or the situation, he'll say, "Rick, I will do this for you," or he'll say, "No, Rick, I cannot do this for you."
Yeah.
Okay. So that's always helpful. That's always helpful. The IBF, they're strictly an eliminator organization. To become number one or number two, you got to win an eliminator, and there's so much, time element and time frame involved. It's not worth the aggravation. I like the IBF and I like Daryl Peoples, but the rules are a little archaic. No question about that. WBC. I love Mauricio Sulaiman. I loved Jose. I was very close with Jose. Ate dinner with him many times with Jose, Don Majeski, Don King. Jose, I used to talk to him on the phone. We used to get along real well. Mauricio is different than Jose in the sense that Mauricio keeps handing out belts like you're walking into a candy store, and
and created them too. He's creating them like left, right, center.
I'm giving him a pass on that 100 over 200 up like 225, 230 weight. I'm giving him a pass. He didn't think of it, and it's a safety issue. In other words, I was presented with the idea before Mauricio was, and says, "What do you think of the idea?" And I like the idea. I think it's a great idea, actually. Okay, but for safety and competitive reasons. Mauricio is too many belts, but he's a gentleman, and if he can do something for you, he will do it. He's not a jerk off.
Okay.
Gilberto Mendoza, I like him. He follows me on Twitter. I believe he's a friend on Facebook. I know he follows me on Twitter. I like the guy, very likable guy, but some very, very, very poor decisions. Very poor decisions. And not for the betterment of boxing, that's for sure.
Okay. So you mentioned kind of going back to Paco Walker. So like when he says he'll do things for you, what kind of things will he do for you?
Well, like if you got a guy that's like undefeated or one loss, but putting him in the top 10 or top 12 of his organization, okay, or if a guy's not in the rankings and he's up for a title fight, and he'll send me the box rec, let me look it over, and let me that kind of stuff. He'll do. He's a gentleman. He's a classy guy. I have nothing but the highest regard for him. I hope he gets in the Hall of Fame. He was on the ballot last year, didn't get in. There's nothing about the guy I don't like. The guy's a gentleman. The guy's classy. One day I was supposed to call him back. He said, Rick, do not call me between 1 and 4:30. I'll come, Paco, on the golf course, and I will not be taking calls from you or anybody else. At least you know why. He'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Good guy, great guy. Nothing but a class act. Nothing.
Yeah. I'll have to meet him one day.
Great guy, brilliant, class. He's a lawyer by trade. He's actually a lawyer every day. So he's been president of WBO for 25 years now.
And the lawyer simultaneously all that time?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No question. Yep. And the lawyer for the WBO, the actual in-house lawyer, Gustavo, his first name. What a nice guy he is. Very nice guy. They're good people. They're really good people.
Okay.
Yeah. And another thing is they don't have interim belts and all this bullshit and diamond belts and
platinum
belts, gold,
Mayan
silver.
Belts. Yeah, platinum.
Mayan belts. Yes, Mayan.
That's my favorite one, the Mayan belt. Yeah, man. So like, do you actually deal with the commissions personally at all, or
the boxing commission, the state commissions?
Just the state commissions,
occasionally. Yeah. And not unless I have to. Normally, the matchmaker of the show does them. I normally don't, but like sometimes I gotta call up and get a guy off suspension, or get him taken off suspension. A lot of times they forget to take him off suspension. Like you go to put a fighter in a fight, you got a 45-day suspension. It's 47 days, and the guy's not off the suspension. Oh, we forgot. Stuff like that. A little shit.
Which commission do you think was like the best to deal with? Who do you
Greg Southern, Pennsylvania, is the best to deal with probably. He's the most alert, sharp, on his stick, and he leaves it with an iron fist. So if he tells you something, it gets done. One way or he tells you it's not going to get done, it don't get done. So it's fair. It goes both ways. But for Greg Southern, the pendulum swings both ways, and I like that. So he's not a one-way street.
I like that. Unrivaled asks, what's the best fight that you've ever attended?
I don't know. I've attended a lot of good ones. I don't know. I'm trying to think. What's the best one?
Which one's
I'll tell you the most exciting one I ever. The two most exciting ones were Lennox Lewis versus Andrew Galata, and Lennox Lewis versus Shannon Briggs. And one of the reasons why the Galata fight, was a one-round knockout, was so exciting was because all the Polish people were screaming "Polska, Polska!" all of a sudden.
And that was it. That was a wrap.
It was over. The first round, the demolition. And then the reason why that Shannon Briggs was fight was because he was a New York guy, lived in New Jersey at the time, and the manager brought a lot of fans, sold a lot of tickets, Mark Roberts, and there was a lot of Shannon Briggs fans there. There was a lot of Brits there, a lot of boxing fans there, and it was a loud. I mean, it was loud in there, and it was exciting. And Shannon rocked him a few times. It was a good fight. Shannon kept getting up. Shannon came to fight, no question about it. And listen, Shannon, whether you know this or not, he has a lot in common with Razor Ruddock. Okay, he lost some big fights, and he's more known for losing some big fights and showing more of himself than he did in his victories. Razor Ruddock is the same way.
Yeah.
So Shannon looks good in real good in some losses. So, he gave 100% of himself, 1,000% of himself that night. No question about it.
I thought.
Yep, fire away.
I was gonna say I thought he did better against Lennox Lewis than he did when he fought Liakovic, even though he beat Liakovic.
Yeah, he didn't do anything the last round. I was there. I was in Phoenix at Cashman Field at the baseball stadium there. Yeah. I was there. I was working with Don at the time. Yeah, he didn't do nothing until the 12th round, then he shot him through the ropes. So how do you figure, he's just cruising along, all of a sudden, boom. And Liakovic was never the same after that.
Yeah.
So the loudest crowd I've ever been to was 4,400 people when Paul Spadafore won the title in August of 1999 against Israel Pito Cardona on ESPN. That place was rocking. I mean, it was loud. It was in one of those prefab steel buildings,
Yeah.
It was so loud in there. I mean, I had a headache for 2 days. I'm not kidding you.
It was that loud?
It was that loud. Oh, my God. And Paul, being the local guy from, right over the border in Pittsburgh, everybody was there. There was no Pito Cardona fans there. It wasn't such thing as a Pito Cardona fan. So, anyways, it was just so loud. And, oh, my God. And Spadafore fought to such a high level that night, So that was really, really loud. That wasn't a great fight. It was just super loud. Oh, my God. I'll remember that forever. My ears still hurt.
Yeah, it sounds like those are the kind of crowds that could do damage to your health.
Yeah, no question about it. So come on, ask some more questions now. Fire away now. You're slowing down on me now.
Is the World Boxing Super Series sustainable?
They owe so many people money. Who knows? I don't know. If they keep not paying people, it's sustainable.
Have you ever actually had to deal with them or no? Like,
oh yeah. I dealt with Starlins with sparring partners and opponents, and I'm done with them. They don't pay. They're slow pay. You wait 2 months. For peanuts. I'm not interested in that. I perform in service. I want to get paid. I'm not sending out dunning notices every week. It's ridiculous. I send you out one invoice. You don't wire me the money to my account. You're done. And I'm not chasing them no more. I chased them 4 times, and I'm done. They kept apologizing. Their way of apologizing is to pay you. That doesn't work for me. Is the World Boxing sustainable? Okay.
That's a real corny way to do business too.
Please, not for me. I don't do business like that.
What are your thoughts on Sebastian Fundora, the 6'6", 154-pounder? Well,
as soon as his metabolism slows down a little bit, he's going to weigh 175. So, he's all right. I don't think he's beating any of the big boys in the division, any of the real good fighters. Like he's not going to beat the Jerson Rebellos and those kind of guys. Yeah, can't see it.
Well, I mean, he beat your guy, Nathaniel Gallimore, your boy.
Why is he my boy?
I don't know. I'm joking with you because I called you one time and I mentioned his name and you're like, he's a weirdo.
It's a little strange. He's not a weirdo. He's just a little strange.
Yeah. Why is he strange?
Well, look, so he beat Jerson Rebello, and he's never won a fight since then that mattered.
Yeah. Well, Rosario was 22 years old and he took the fight on short notice.
Okay. Still, it's a big win. It's a big win for a guy that isn't much, and then all of a sudden,
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
He beat Justin Deloach too. That was a good win for him. That was the one that put him on the map.
Okay, that's 2 fights, and then he's come up lame in all his fights since that meant anything.
Yeah,
not a good sign.
One SS wants to know: have you worked with a small promoter like Lou DiBella? And oh God, what's it like working with them compared to Top Rank?
Put it this way to you. Put it this way to you. Top Rank is the Rolls Royce, and Lou DiBella is the Kia.
Oh man.
Get any clearer than that?
You can't get no more clear than that. That's like that's comparing trash to treasure.
You mean treasure to trash?
Treasure to trash.
Yeah. I mean, it's like It's not even comparable. It's not even worth talking about. The levels in between there are so big. The Bella has a history of not paying people. The Top Rank, they apologize to you if they forget to send out the check the day after the fight's over. It's next business day. Let's say the fight's Saturday or Monday. Oh, wow, we forgot to send the check out. It's going out today. They call you up and apologize. Completely different organization. Not even comparable. Like I said, a Rolls Royce and a Kia.
Yeah. What do you think is the best matchup of the year so far? Somebody asked that.
You mean coming up?
I guess, yeah, coming up.
You have to say Lomachenko. You have to say Lomachenko and Teofimo. I mean, what else could there be? I mean, right?
Yeah,
we know one thing. It isn't Fury and Wilder.
Let's see. What are your thoughts? Well, we talked about that already on the whole Canelo lawsuit and if he'll win the case.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. That guy's gonna have to watch the replay.
You have to watch the replay. El Jefe, you gotta watch that back. Who's better to work with, De La Hoya or Bob Arum? Antonio asked that question.
De La Hoya is not bad to work with. I haven't worked with him in recent years. I worked with them a little bit back in the 2000s, a few times. No question about it. Top Rank, but not even a question. Brad Goodman is one of the best matchmakers of all time, along with his mentor, Bruce Trample, and then his mentor, Teddy Brenner. They're both in the Hall of Fame. It's apples and oranges, really. I mean, you can't compare them because Brad's at a different level than anybody that Golden Boy has in that department, and nobody pays like Top Rank. They pay like slot machines. So.
Like when Top Rank signs a fighter, how is it different than like when other promotional companies sign fighters? Because I've heard like Top Rank throws these fighters like these big signing bonuses, and that's how they entice them to sign. That's what I've heard, but I don't really know.
Not true at all. Just the opposite way around. Their line is, "Why do we have to pay you a lot of money? We're Top Rank." So
yeah.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. How do they do business differently? They bring fighters at different levels. So in other words, they give you 4 fights at this level, and then you do good at those 4 fights. Then they'll bring you to 2 fights that are 6 rounders. You do good, then they jump you up in a little better competition. The next 2 fights, then all of a sudden you're an 8-round fighter, a little jump up, a little, they keep moving you up, moving you along.
Yeah.
But they're very patient.
Okay.
Very patient.
That sounds like that like the way you described it. That kind of sounds like what they're doing with Clay Collard right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. They believe in Clay Collard so much he beat better fighters early on than he's fighting now.
Yeah, they're getting mad at him now. It's Timothy Bradley and the commentary team. They're like, yeah, he's fighting Cans now. They got to throw in there with somebody better. And I'm like, well, he beat like 3 undefeated guys before he even got to this point.
The problem is the undefeated guys won't fight him anymore.
He ruined them for life.
Yeah. He showed him who the boss was, and that game is over now. Now he's got to go back to fight German because the guy's undefeated. Man, hold on, I'm not fighting him.
There was one undefeated guy. Me and you actually had a Twitter interaction with him. Remember a couple weeks ago?
Lorenzo, from Baltimore, Truck Simpson.
Yeah, Lorenzo Truck Simpson was saying he wanted to fight him.
Yeah, he's left-handed. They're not going to put him in with a left-hander.
Yeah.
The guy doesn't have any amateur fights. He was an MMA fighter. You think they're going to put him in with a left-hander? I don't think so.
Well, I heard he was an amateur fighter because I interviewed his parents, and his parents said he had a pretty if
he did, he's known as an MMA fighter. I didn't know that, but still, they're not putting him in with no left-hander. That ain't happening.
Okay.
And Truck had his chance to sign with Top Rank, by the way. So let him stew in his own mental disabilities.
Yeah, he was telling us he's not an official Heyman guy, but I thought he was a Heyman guy.
Well, he wasn't. I guess now he signed with MTK.
Oh, that's true. You're right. Yeah, he was like the first American signing, or one of them.
Right. They couldn't have come up with a better one.
I don't know, man. MTK getting desperate out here.
I don't know. I wouldn't call that a groundbreaking signing. The thoughts on Nick Walters making a comeback. Is he?
I haven't heard anything about that.
I haven't heard anything about it. The last time I heard, he was smoking ganja on the beaches of Jamaica, and he had no interest in fighting ever again.
I do know that he's still in the gym because I ran into Hector Camacho Jr. the other week, and they're both in Panama, and he was telling me that Nicholas Walters is still in the gym, so he's still training. Still active.
4 years later. He quit the last time he was in the ring. Got a big prospects there. That's exciting, isn't it?
No. Do you think Jaron Ennis is going to be stripped for his activity? That's what somebody asked.
Why would he do that? It's a pandemic. Nobody's getting stripped for anything.
I don't know.
No.
When was his last fight? I can't remember his last fight.
He just fought. He just fought for Top Rank in the last fight. He fights for Top Rank in the fall, late fall.
Was it So it was like late last year he fought?
Yeah, it's a pandemic situation. Travel bans, all kinds of wacky shit going on. It's nothing to do with Cajas. He's fine.
Yeah. What do you think about Sergio Martinez being ranked 6th by the WBA?
Well, they're not creating belts and giving belts away. They're giving bogus ratings away. Come on, please. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Stacy told me that Trevor Bryan is fighting October 3rd, supposedly. Is that fight going to be against Christopher Lovejoy?
That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah. Because he texted me. He was like, oh, yeah, we're having this fight in Daytona October 3rd. I want you to come out. But he didn't tell me who the opponent was.
Christopher Lovejoy. That's one round and out.
that's gonna make Trevor Bryan go viral. He'll go viral.
Trevor Bryan's a pretty good little fighter. Not a bad fighter.
Definitely a guy that I think will crack a top 10 if he actually gets active. He could crack the top 10, lower part of the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Rick, who are you picking to win Rosario versus Jamel Charlo?
Everybody's asking me that question. If the two Charlos went 0-2 that day, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't shock me. If they went 1-1, is probably more like it. If they would go 2-0, I don't know which one's going to lose. But the 54-pounder, that Ravello, he can fight. He's strong. He can punch. I would say he's a better shot for him to win than it is for Lomachenko to win. But I think they're going to be both great fights. If any pay-per-view is worth it, it's that day in boxing. Those are big fights. Those are quality fights. And the other fights they're showing are supposed to be good. And I'm recommending people buy that show, actually, which normally I don't do.
Ain't that crazy? Rick Glaser's recommending that Al Heyman and Showtime and PBC get some business, get some pay-per-view buys. See? You tell the truth, man.
I always do. Listen, I've always said this. Would you say if Al Heyman put on a good fight, would you say so? Of course I do. It's just they happen so infrequently that it doesn't look like I do. Yeah. But it happens so infrequently. It's bad. It's bad when a guy in boxing knows when a fight's going to be bad and it turns out to be bad. It's a funny thing, okay? 99% of the time when I say a fight's going to be bad, it's bad. If I think it's going to be good and it turns out bad, okay, that'll happen occasionally. That'll happen to anybody. But when you know going into fight's going to be bad, who needs to watch it? Do we need to watch Lara and Craig Vendetti? Oh, Greg Vendetti? Oh, my God.
It's brutal.
We don't need to watch fights like that. Rick Glaser, thoughts on Virgil Ortiz? Oh, he's LFA. He's excellent. I'm a big believer in Virgil Ortiz as a fighter and as a human being. I think he's a classy guy. I have nothing but positive things. Nothing negative to say about it, nothing but positive things. Got world championship potential, great puncher, active fighter, stays in the gym, good person. I've never heard a person say a bad word about Virgil Ortiz. Not one singular person.
Yeah. We got my man, that boy 26 says, what are your thoughts on Boo Boo Andrade being avoided by the top fighters?
Why would they fight him? He brings no additional revenues to the table. He's left-handed. He's a tough out for anybody. Why would anybody fight him? Makes no sense. Anybody good's not going to fight him. Doesn't make any sense.
He's got a belt.
So what? The guys that he wants to fight all have belts already. What do they need him for?
Shouldn't they want to show the ambition to go undisputed?
No. He fights ugly. He's got an ugly style. He's left-handed. Nobody needs to fight him. Nobody needs to fight him.
But
he doesn't come to fight. He doesn't show gumption to win. He could look okay. He looks to take the path of least resistance. Nobody wants to fight somebody like that.
Well, because they don't want to fight him though. If they fought him, he'd have to show every last bit of himself. I think it's because the opponents are putting in front of him. It's kind of similar like Arizona Lara. Like when you put Lara with Jarrett Hurd, it was an entertaining fight.
Well, because he's got no legs left. That's why. He's up there in years. He's now 37. He was like 35 when that fight happened. Boo Boo doesn't mean anything. He doesn't bring any additional revenues to the table. Nobody's going to get paid more to fight Boo Boo, significantly more. There's no reason to fight him. What's the reason? Somebody explain it. Yeah. You got to fight somebody. They have something you have. If you already got a WBA belt, a BC, and BO, why do you need Boo Boo's belt too? Just go on. Nobody needs to fight him. Eddie's offered him up to all his guys. Nobody wants to fight the guy. The other guy's good, but doesn't bring any revenues to the table. But listen, I've never met a guy that's ever said, "Hey, when's Boo Boo Andrade fighting again? I can't wait to see him fight." Nobody's ever said that.
I love watching him fight.
Well, you may. My condolences to you.
I love watching the guy fight.
I don't.
I think it's a bad look. I think it's a bad look for the middleweight division in boxing that they don't want to fight him.
Is it a bad look or is it brains? I think it's brains.
Maybe
you tell me what additional revenues he brings to the table for him to fight one of the good fighters that's already got a belt.
He doesn't, but he has a belt. Like if he didn't have a belt, I would actually agree with you. But because he has a belt, I feel like they should be striving for this fight. They should be pushing for it.
Now the guy that's number one over there from England, Liam Williams.
Yeah.
Okay, I could see him wanting to fight because he wants the belt. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. If guy's already got a belt, what do we need to fight him for? Left-handed, runs around the ring, slaps. Oh.
Nah, he doesn't run around the ring.
When he fights a good fight, he'll be running around the ring. Because he's controlling fighters.
He didn't run around the ring when he fought Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson? Who's gonna run when they fight Willie Nelson?
Well, Willie Nelson beat Tony Harrison. Willie Nelson's not a bum. Willie Nelson's not a solid guy.
No, he's not like a vicious puncher. Vincent Arroyo beat him, 140-pounder, knocked him down 3 times. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. But I'm just saying, man. Like, if you put the best fighters in front of him, you'll get the best Boo Boo Andrade. That's all I'm saying. And I think the guys at 160 should show some ambition and fight him.
Hopefully, we'll never find out. Continue.
I want to find out, and I wish Canelo would fight him.
Good luck.
Yeah.
What do we got?
What's your prediction for Marius Bridas versus Junior Dotigos?
Anybody, Dorticos? Anything can happen in that fight. They're both big punchers. I like Dorticos a little bit because he's a little faster, but it's a great fight. Bridas is stronger, but Dorticos is faster. Great fight. Sensational.
Yeah,
I like Dorticos just a little bit.
Yeah, I like watching the KO doctor, man. He brings the pain.
Yeah, he does.
What do you think about this guy from Uzbekistan? You got Bektir Malakuziev.
What is he, the 60-pounder, 68? What is he?
The 60-pounder, I think, or 68. He's a guy that.
Yeah, he's good. He's strong. He's good. He's good. You know, there's a bunch of those guys. I just can't pronounce their names or remember which one's which.
Yeah, because there's the 2 guys I always get confused are the Mirjan Akhmadaliev and then they got Ali Akhmadaliev, like the same to me.
Yeah, they are. You know, you probably never see them in the same picture at the same time.
Yeah. My man Antonio says, will Canelo Alvarez fight 175 again and fight the top dogs at 175?
No.
Well, right now he's got to worry about that lawsuit. You know,
right. He's fighting his own right now.
This is the biggest fight of his career.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Rick. Well, I'm probably gonna get out of here. Actually, I'm gonna wrap it up.
What?
I'm gonna wrap it up.
An hour and 15 minutes?
15 minutes. Yeah.
And I got dressed up for this?
You didn't get dressed up.
I know. I'm wearing a t-shirt, a pair of shorts, and a pair of sandals, a pair of flips. Listen, I want to say thanks for having me on. I enjoyed it. Oh, well, there's one last question there. Something about Jaron Ennis. What are you saying?
It says, what does Jaron Ennis fit at 147?
Well, he's going to fit at the top of the heap very shortly. When he gets his lawsuit straightened out, and he goes back to his rightful promoter and stuff like that, and he'll be right in the thick of things at 175 pounds. So it'll be very interesting. Let's put it that way to you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Jaron taking on those top dogs.
Me too. Don't forget now, he had two brothers. Neither of them had good chins.
Hopefully it's not hereditary having a bad chin.
One was a 54, one was a 68. They didn't have good chins. Derek Ennis and Farron Ennis or Farrow or something.
I remember Derek.
Yeah, there was a 68-pound brother too. He didn't have a good chin either. So hopefully this guy's got a good chin. In the meantime, it's BT. Say hello to your father for me. Looking forward to being on your show again. If you want to hang it on my Facebook wall, do what you got to do. Hang it on Twitter on my thing, and I'll retweet it and do what I got to do. And let's make it happen. Like
all right, absolutely.
You're a good man. You still got that rain check for lunch. And when you get with Stacy, I want you to call me from when you're with her. Are you gonna go over there to see him tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah, I'll be there tomorrow.
Okay, when you go over there, you call me when you're with him.
I will.
Okay, make sure you do. Okay.
All right, Rick.
Okay,
right.
You enjoy your the balance of evening. Thanks for having me, and all you boxing enthusiasts. Hope I answered all your questions and your concerns, and we'll move forward another time. Probably another couple weeks. You'll have me on again, BT, and I look forward to that time. Thanks, everybody. And remember, on Twitter, it's at Real Rick Glaser 1. At Real Rick Glaser. I came on Twitter in January this year, 2020. There's a lot of fake Rick Glaser accounts out there. Be careful. It's at Rick Glaser 1. Okay? And there's ones using my name, my likeness. It's disgusting. I keep calling Twitter. They won't take it down. I know. It's the greatest form of flattery. I know.
I was gonna say that means you're doing something right.
I didn't know it was so great to be Rick Glaser. I'm trying to figure this out. Thanks for having me, my friend. Enjoy.
Absolutely. All right, Rick.
Bye-bye.
Take care. All right, so there you have it. That's Rick Glaser, man. It's always good to have Rick on the on True School Sports. I hope he answers you guys' questions. Before I wrap it up here, I want to just tell you guys to go check out all the content here on True School Sports. What dropped recently? I had a Ramses Bartholomew interview drop. Go check that out. There's other content dropping. Check out the Jason Rosario interview if you haven't done so already. There's going to be other Jason Rosario footage coming out in the coming days. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for all the content coming out here on True School Sports. We'll be live again tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a fun day because tomorrow is the official Teofimo Lopez versus Lomachenko trash talking stream. So if you want to come tomorrow, we're going to be doing a lot of shit talking on that particular stream. And then the day after that, we're going to be previewing this weekend's cards. And then this weekend, as always, we'll be live for the fight. So that's what it is. You guys be on the lookout for everything coming out here on True School Sports. There's a lot of great things happening that I'll be announcing in the coming weeks. And until then, like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just kidding, Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.